Cougar News is proudly sponsored by Vincenzo's Pizza, Granada Hills.
Tonight on Cougar News, a man started his journey to walk across the United States. We will give you a closer look.
Plus, a love story with a controversial twist is making its way to the COC Performing Arts Center.
Also, is bottled water really worth your money, or are you just paying for fancy tap water? Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Georgia Rios.
And I'm Allyssa Dickert. Here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. Santa Clarita Valley deputies responded to a shots fired call early Sunday morning on the 25,000 block of Silver Aspen Way. The call came from a West Ridge resident who says he had interrupted two suspects in the process of burglarizing his car. One of the suspects raised his handgun. That is when the victim raised his own gun and fired shots at the suspect's vehicle. The suspects fled away from Silver Aspen Way down to the old road, where they eventually crashed at the Tournament Players Club of Valencia. They ran across the golf course and fled out of view.
You know, if you live in a neighborhood, you live in an apartment complex, keep an eye on your area. You know better than anybody else if something is suspicious or something is out of place. And if you feel that a crime is in progress, if you feel something just isn't right, give your local law enforcement agency a call.
Investigation is still underway, but investigators have found the suspect's car was a stolen vehicle and contained stolen items. Dubin says you should always call police before attempting to stop a crime in progress yourself.
A tablet was stolen from a student's locker at the Culinary Arts Department's new building. School officials were notified of the theft last Thursday, as a COC spokesman says the student was unclear on how to correctly lock the locker, making the student's items easily accessible. No suspects have been identified in the tablet's theft, but 4 people who are not enrolled in the culinary arts program were seen in the building.
The Whitaker Burmite cleanup operation is still underway. But why does the area need to be cleaned? And what does the future hold for the contaminated region? Austin Westfall has the report.
The Whitaker Burmite property is an undeveloped 996-acre plot of land located in the middle of the Santa Clarita Valley. The site is formerly home to companies who developed fireworks, dynamite, and explosives, as well as the manufacturing and testing of munitions for the Department of Defense. This has called for a massive cleanup effort because chemicals associated with those operations are still present on the site to this day. The Department of Toxic Substance Control is in charge of monitoring the process.
The primary contaminants of concern that we have on the site are primarily 2. One of them is perchlorate, which is a salt associated with the manufacturing, when you use powders, essentially. And the other chemicals are the family of what we call volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, or commonly known as solvents. And those are the primary contaminants of concern that we have on the property.
But contamination is not the only issue this large property proposes.
Right now, it's an obstacle in the middle of the city. To go from Canyon Country to Newhall area, say Wiley Canyon and Lyons, you've got to go 10 or 11 miles, where actually it's only about a 4-mile trip if you go straight across.
Not only are 3 major roads planned to cross through the area, but new schools, parks, and single-family residential units are all a part of the city's general plan. The cleanup of the Whitaker Burmite property is projected to be completed by the end of 2016. The city has not yet given an estimate as to when the property will be developed, but you can keep updated on their website, whitakerburmite.com. For Cougar News, I'm Austin Westfall.
Drug use among college students is extremely common, but Cougar News reporter Enzo Marino has the story on a different kind of college drug use. It doesn't include a shot glass or rolling papers, but might require your reading glasses and scratch paper instead.
Images like these of partying college students are common and have been for decades. For others, though, the landscape is quite different. Student use of prescription drugs, not to party, but to improve cognition while studying, is rapidly becoming a new trend. Adderall is generally the most prominent prescription drug taken by healthy students.
I had a large load and a large workload, and it helped me just focus and get through studying.
A COC student spoke to Cougar News on a condition of anonymity and told us about her experience.
I literally just had a whole bunch of homework in probably 3 different subjects, and an essay and a book review, and I couldn't get myself to stay focused. Like, I was so worried about finishing it that I couldn't stay myself focused on one subject for like a really long time. So when I took it, it literally zoned me out, and I was just like all in.
Next to alcohol and marijuana, prescription drugs are the most abused substance among college students. And like virtually all prescription drugs, there are several side effects to consider.
So if you take these kinds of drugs, they can cause heart problems. You can get addicted to them, so you build up a tolerance to them. You can get depressed, you can get agitated, you can have problems with anger, irritability, anxiety.
College of the Canyon's Assistant Director of the Student Health and Wellness Center's Mental Health Program, Larry Schallert, told us that students are often misinformed when it comes to the dangers involved with drugs like Adderall.
This doesn't make you smarter, these kinds of drugs. They may make you, concentrate and focus on things, but you may have felt like, hey, you did better on a test because of that. But the fact of the matter is, you probably didn't. You probably just, focused more.
Healthcare professionals like Mr. Schallert say the best way for students to improve cognitive functions is to do it naturally. That means exercise regularly and get plenty of sleep. For Cougar News, I'm Enzo Marino.
And now we have What's Trending.
Heather Harbin joins us for the latest. Heather?
Well, California, we have some good news and some bad news for you. For the past century, California has been lucky in the sense that there have been no major earthquakes. However, in the next 30 years, that luck will probably run out. The USGS says odds of a magnitude 8 or stronger earthquake in California has risen from 4.7% to about 7%, while the chance of a 6.7 quake, roughly the size of the 1994 Northridge earthquake, decreased by about 30%. USGS scientist Ned Field says that the higher odds are due to the inclusion of possible multi-fault ruptures. In other news, California has been experiencing one of the worst droughts in history, with no end in sight. It has been setting off new alarms about water shortages, increased wildfire threats, fewer crops and farmers, higher electric bills, and huge economic losses for years and maybe even decades to come. Scientist Peter Gleica said that even if normal rain begins to fall, it will take a few years to overcome the massive deficits California has had. 98% of California remains in a drought, with the central part of the state seeing the worst conditions. Officials have said that California has about only 1 year of water left in its reservoirs, and mandatory rationing should begin now. Millionaire Robert Durst, the center of the HBO docuseries The Jinx, has been arrested for murder. Durst had finished an interview with the producers and asked to be excused, but did not realize his wireless mic was still on. Muttering to himself, Durst seemed to confess to murdering 3 people. Listen to this.
There it is. Your cord. Says right. Irish. What the hell did I do? Kill them all. Of course.
What do you think about the recording? Do you believe Durst is mentally ill, or the statement was taken out of context? Send us your opinions to our Twitter handle at @COC_Cougar News. One of the first web browsers that we all know and have mixed feelings about is finally coming to an end. Microsoft is giving up on Internet Explorer and are working hard on a new browser called Project Spartan for Windows 10. For the past several years, Microsoft has been improving Internet Explorer. However, many people associate the browser with terrible performance and badly rendered websites. It's not quite the end of the line for the browser, however. Project Spartan will be the default browser for Windows 10, but Internet Explorer will still be included for comparability purposes. Project Spartan is shaping up to be a promising browser, and without the familiar name, maybe users will even give it a try. And that's what's trending. I'm Heather Harbin. For more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at cougarnews.com. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Heather.
CPR may become a requirement for high school students in the Los Angeles County, and it may be leading to some controversy. Ariel Thompson has more.
Democratic Assemblyman Freddie Rodriguez has introduced Bill 319 into the California legislature that would require high school students to learn CPR before they graduate.
15 chest compressions. We're going to go 1.5
EMT students and professionals believe that learning CPR is important on and off the field, and it would be great for high schools to make CPR a requirement. Professionals believe learning CPR may be beneficial, but administrators think otherwise.
It's a great skill to have, but putting it into the curriculum and into the educational requirements for high school graduation, I'm just not sure at this time if that fits. You can't teach everything. You try, but some things need to give. I mean, the curriculums are so lengthy and long, we don't have enough days in a school year.
The question is, if you know CPR, will you choose to use it when that time, if that time ever comes across, or if you ever cross that path where, hey, you know, there's someone who needs CPR, needs some resuscitation, will an individual act upon using that skill? That's the other question. It is going to be a burden on the general fund. The district would be responsible for finding monies to pay for this, to pay for extra teachers, to pay for extra classrooms. We'd have to buy new furniture, new desks, so it would be a big burden.
Bill 319 is expected to be heard in committees later this spring. For Cougar News, I'm Ariel Thompson.
Last broadcast, you got to meet Cole Petty, the man who pledged to walk around the country in order to connect with people and raise awareness about one's own possibilities. Family and friends joined Petty and his mother Gidget last Saturday to kick off the Walk for Change campaign to support Cole's trek around the country. The crowd started off at Central Park and began the 2.5-mile group walk to Real Life Church, where Cole delivered some inspiring words in front of his supporters, including stories about his brother and how being able to find light in dark times. Petty's goal is to influence people to rethink one's own possibilities and contributions to humanity and the planet.
Canyon Country resident and mother of 3, Shannon Ryder, is battling a rare form of cancer. And through it all, she's staying optimistic. Reporter Raina Harvey sat down with Shannon this week as she shared her story with us.
Shannon Ryder is a vibrant wife and mother of 3 young girls. But what separates her from other mothers is that Shannon is battling a rare form of cancer.
I'm a mom, first and foremost. That's really what I am and what I care about. And a wife, second of all. And I try to be a good friend.
Shannon is a local resident here in Canyon Country.
This community feels more like home than anywhere I've ever lived.
So what is PMP cancer and how rare is it?
When I was diagnosed with it, it was after we had thought I had ovarian cancer. And the histology came back that it didn't come from the ovary, it came from the appendix. I've heard that it's 1 in 500,000 to 1 in a million in the world.
Her cancer reached stage 4 before she knew she even had it.
You don't know you have this cancer until other weird symptoms arise, and it's usually misdiagnosed, which led to my stage 4.
Shannon's financial situation played a significant role in her late diagnosis.
I work for Verizon, and honestly, they saved my life. Because before I had that job, I didn't have any health insurance. I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't afford to go see a doctor.
And despite disheartening news from doctors, she's decided to be optimistic about her situation.
She looked me square in the face and said, well, you have cancer of the appendix and get your affairs in order because you have about 2 to 5 years to live.
Shannon's advice to others who may be battling cancer?
You just have to keep searching and don't give up.
Shannon has touched so many people around her.
What would you like to say to her? That I love her very much.
You can donate to Shannon's GoFundMe account at gofundme.com/RyderGirl. I'm Raina Harvey, reporting for Cougar News.
Coming up on Cougar News, students got the opportunity to interact with professionals in the media industry.
Plus, a new product is allowing consumers to make purchases without the use of cash or card. Stay tuned.
Are you still looking for your school? College of the Canyons is located on scenic rolling hills with competitive programs such as new media journalism, state-of-the-art sports facilities, and a culinary arts program that will be opening their brand new building with 3 state-of-the-art test kitchens. At only $46 a unit, you will discover that COC is the community college for you. Find out more at www.canyons.edu.
I'm Richard Horvitz.
I'm Tara Strong.
I'm Michael C. Morona.
And I'm Danny Tamborelli.
Hi, this is Ming Chen.
This is Mike Zapsik.
Hi, it's Louis Anderson.
I'm Weird Al.
I'm Florence Henderson.
I'm the Grinch. And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching. You're watching.
And you're watching.
And you lucky people are watching.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News. You're watching Cougar News. So this is for the older ladies.
And I'm a cougar.
Welcome back to Cougar News. Tonight we have a special guest with us, Kevin Anthony. He's a professor here at COC. Welcome. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much. I run the hotel restaurant department, and we are going to be going to Rome, Italy this year. And we're going to spend 5 weeks there, and we're going to be offering 2 classes, our Introduction to Tourism class and also our art class, Visual and Landmark History of Rome. And it's going to be, we're going to be taking students from COC primarily, but we take students from any CSU school, and we're going to be living in Rome. So.
How fun. That sounds like an awesome time. So what are the benefits, would you say, of college students studying abroad?
Well, I spent my entire 3rd year of college in Rome, so I really had an opportunity to experience what the students are going to experience. And it was probably one of those experiences that you have that just really changes your life, because you get exposed to so many different parts of history, so much culture. You live with a different, you live in a culture. And our students are going to have a little better than I had it. They're going to be staying in apartments in the city of Rome. And we'll have class sessions in the morning when we basically will be out in Rome, and we'll be looking at the different museums and St. Peter's and the Forum. And we also have planned 2 day trips, one to Florence, Italy. We're going to go through the Uffizi Gallery, which is, I feel, is one of the best in the world. And we're also going to travel down south to visit the city of Pompeii. So.
Now, will these classes be UC applicable?
Yes, both classes are 3 units, and they will they transfer to any CSU. So they're transferable classes.
Great. And also, where can a student sign up if they're interested, and is there any tap on how many kids can enroll?
Sure. We have a web page. We're going to put that up for people to look at. Also, kevin.anthony@canyons.edu. If you shoot me an email, I'd be more than happy to hook you up with the web page, and then also the brochures and the flyers and things, so you get a full understanding of the whole program. It's a unique opportunity. I know that I'll never forget the first trip I took COC students to. At the end of the trip, that last night, they all went down to the opera. And I was just, and they were broke, but they found the money, and they went down, and they went to the opera. And I remember on another trip, I was at the Uffizi, and one of my students walked up to me and was looking at Botticelli's masterpiece there and said, "Professor, I just changed my major." So it's a life-changing type of experience, and I've had it in my life, and this is my 5th trip, so I've been able to do this before. So.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like an awesome time.
Yes. So I would just like to add, as far as if you need to get in touch with me, just through the College of the Canyon webpage, and that'll be it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to come down here and talking with us about it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great evening. College of the Canyons drew hundreds of high school and college students Saturday morning for Media Day. Students were given the opportunity to talk with media professionals from multiple different fields. College of the Canyons Media Department and West Ranch High School worked together to make this possible. And I was there to take a closer look. Over 350 students were able to step into their future at College of the Canyons Media Day this past weekend. Mentry Hall was filled with media professionals from film, game design, public relations, and broadcast journalism. Students were eager to hear their experiences and industry advice.
Be the real you.
Be what's authentic to you. Don't try to be somebody else.
That was ABC7's Leanne Suter's #1 advice, and her colleague Philip Palmer agreed and added on.
What Leanne said. You must be happy with where you are, because it's going to get you where you want to be.
Entertainment guru George Pinocchio shared it's all about hard work and dedication.
You need the drive, you need the passion. It's not an easy business, but I think it's a good business. And if it's something that you want, I think you will succeed.
Students at Media Day even got a chance to explore the news van. They learned tips on shooting, editing, and much more.
Have a lot of things that you know how to do underneath your belt, not necessarily just knowing like what one aspect of journalism is, but trying to know all of them.
Former COC students who are now working in the industry, like Jason Galvin, also shared his advice.
Experience and criticism will be your two best friends in this industry, all day, every day.
This inspiring event was made possible by West Ranch High School's production teacher, Jennifer Overdevest, and Dave Brill, the chair of COC's MEA department.
I think the opportunity to connect students with whatever their likes are, whether they want to be animators or they want to be creative in the film world or they want to be journalists or, you know, maybe they want to get into public relations or maybe they want to be the next great audio person. The ability to get those students who are really kind of interested in something, connected to presenters, folks from industry that really want to come back and actually talk about what they do is terrific. It happened today, and it was exciting.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Allyssa Dickert.
For a little insight on some of the clubs available on our campus, our own Robert Spallone has more from last week's Club Rush.
Hundreds of students gathered around the Honor Grove for this year's ASG-sponsored Club Rush.
Club Rush is an event that's comprised of the 54 clubs that we have here on campus, so it's a great way for students to really engage in the campus community and find a group of students that have similar interests to their own.
Some clubs are being resurrected starting this semester.
We promote English majors, and basically what we do is we meet bi-weekly on Tuesdays. And we're actually just started new. 5 years back, both counselors left unexpectedly, so we're trying to get it back up starting.
And others are looking forward to new partnerships.
Geography is so relevant to almost every major that no matter what you are, it's a place you can relate to. Jason's actually the co-advisor of our geography club, so basically the idea is to try to draw on the geology people, the geography people, just everybody.
With over 50 clubs here for the day's event, Club Rush gives students a chance to get more personally involved with the campus.
One of them was the snack club. I see they really have a lot of information out there, and they really try to get people to join and promote their club. I know I follow them on Instagram. We have an Instagram as well, and they post a lot of things for the students' well-being.
Robert Spallone, Cougar News.
At the start of the month, Santa Clarita hosted its inaugural summer job fair at the SEV Activity Center. Gap, H&R Block, and Jersey Mike's were just a few of the 22 employers that had over 300 job openings available for potential employees. The event was open to the public and geared toward younger job seekers, but had more to offer than just a summer job.
We're also providing workshops on interviewing skills, professionalism, how to apply for jobs, where to apply for jobs, and how to fill out applications and resumes.
If you weren't able to attend the event, the City of Santa Clarita has an ongoing partnership with the WorkSource Center at College of the Canyons. You can stop by Monday through Friday, and they will assist you in your job search.
Looking for a new club on campus? Cougar News' own Austin Prestiato has more.
There's a new group on COC's campus to help support those on both sides of the autism spectrum.
Basically what this club is to really bridge the gap between those that are on the autism spectrum disorder and also not on the autism spectrum disorder. And so that we can kind of also have an understanding between the two groups, if you want to call it that.
The Autism Alliance is a group here on campus to support those on and off the spectrum. They are not an official club yet, but are working towards becoming one, as well as putting a similar club on CSUN's campus so members can have a smooth transition over. They meet here at the Student Center every Monday from 2 to 3 in room 128. I'm Austin Prestiato here with Cougar News.
Most Canyon students know that there's a student government on campus, but do you know what they have been doing for you recently? Cougar News reporter Aaron Lanuza has more.
A thoughtful associated student government can often be the reason why students receive a quality experience on campus. But lots of the work that has to be done is actually done behind the scenes.
It's been stated throughout the entire year that everything needs.
Herman is just one of the officers serving over 10 hours a week to their student body.
Okay with that? Yeah. Any questions or clarifications?
This last semester, Herman Hernandez from ASG has increased club presence on campus.
Herman's full title is ASG Vice President of Inter-Club Council, and he changed ICC policy to have clubs interact more with the average COC student.
As public affairs officer, I feel I am very close to the students, or I definitely try to be. There's always room for improvement, but we are growing.
In the last 2 semesters, Emily Harmon increased ASG followers on Facebook and built a following of around 1,000 followers on Instagram and Twitter under the name COC_ASG and updates regularly. And within the last several semesters, ASG has steadily grown in number and in political influence, as funding and responsibility began knocking at the ASG doors.
We recently approved funds to send 2 of our officers, President Christine Colindres and student trustee Jared Moberg, to be sent up to Sacramento to advocate on the students' behalf regarding funding to be cut from California community colleges. And saying they're actually going up there, they're actually going to be the only two students from any community college in the state attending.
Christine Colindres and Jared Moberg arrived back to Santa Clarita on March 18th. To receive any updates on their story, be sure to visit ASG in the Student Center. For your Cougar News Scoop, I'm Aaron Lanuza. Don't forget to check out our website at cougarnews.com.
55 deputy sheriffs and police officers were sworn into service at College of the Canyons Performing Arts Center. Both Sheriff Jim McDonnell and Santa Clarita Mayor Marsha McLean addressed Academy Class 404 during the graduation ceremony. A total of 7 women and 48 men took the oath of office to protect and serve. Their class is the first to pass a newly implemented 22-week training program and lead a new era of police officers who have received new training in media relations, accountability, and scenario testing.
As you accept your badges today, you're not accepting a prize for completing the last 6 months. You're accepting a star or a shield which represents the community that we serve, a badge which represents thousands who came before you and many who died wearing it with honor.
Loop Pay is the world's first mobile wallet solution that allows consumers to pay with their mobile devices at most places and leave their wallets at home. Khalik Osborne has more.
Loop Pay is the world's first mobile wallet solution that allows consumers to pay with their mobile devices. Loop Pay supports over 10,000 issuers, thousands of credit and debit cards, along with most gift, loyalty, and campus cards. However, it is a significantly bigger device compared to your average credit card, making it no more convenient than your average wallet. Will Loop Pay replace them? Let's go to College of the Canyons to ask students how they feel about it.
I have an Android.
iPhone.
iPhone.
I have an iPhone.
Android. Maybe in the future. I used
Yeah.
to carry my iPhone. I had a case that had my credit card on the back of it.
Possibly if if Apple Pay doesn't expand their variety of they only have Target, Starbucks,
yeah,
just little things. So if you guys could expand it.
Definitely, yeah. Seems like a really cool device. I mean,
yeah.
It's going to be a little while. It's going to take a little while for people to get comfort. I think it'll definitely trend.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for people who sell merchandise, like smaller venues and everything like that, who oh, I don't have cash on me. Well, good news is I have a card reader.
Seems like something a person should.
A lot of people don't really carry wallets no more, so it's and then it's better for you because you drop your debit card or your wallet, then it's you got that right there in your phone.
Now we have Judith Ratana here to tell us a little bit about entertainment.
So here we have a new theater production here at COC. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I heard it's going to be a really amazing show, and I'm really excited to see it myself. College of the Canyons Theater Department is presenting the award-winning play Next Fall by Jeffrey Knopfs. The controversial play conquers the themes of homosexuality, battles of religion, and overall a love story. Laura Piegler had the chance to talk to the cast and get a closer look.
Susan Hinshaw is not only teaching theater classes at College of the Canyons, she's also directing the theater production Next Fall by Jeffrey Knopfts.
It's just very realistic in what people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. It resonated for me in a lot of ways. There's a brain injury in it, and my husband had had a brain injury.
The COC professor is not afraid to tackle contemporary issues.
Adam is a gay man living in modern times, and he's a very open and expressive individual who stands up for what he believes in, and he won't take no for an answer.
David Adler had to push himself out of his comfort zone to play Adam's character.
It's not an abnormal thing, it's more of just like how he feels, and that's another human being's way of expressing love, and it's the same thing. The way I express love to women is the way he expresses love to a man.
But the play is about more than just a same-sex couple.
It packs a punch, it's heartfelt, and it's topical. The play is really a discussion about same-sex partnerships, Christianity versus Judaism. It just asks a lot of questions that I think are really topical and important right now.
Susan Hinshaw has a very clear idea on how to put the play into action.
It's a very intimate staging. My goal is for it to be a very immediate experience.
The actors have been working in here every day over the past 5 weeks, giving the audience something to look forward to without revealing too much.
It's about love. That's all I would describe it.
The play opens March 20th at the Black Box Theater in the Performing Arts Center. Tickets are available at the box office. For Cougar News, I'm Laura Pichla.
On the air for 10 years now, Dancing with the Stars kicked off its 20th season with a bang. Each contestant performed their opening dance, with Rumor Willis and pro Val Shmerkovsky earning the highest score of the night with 32 out of 40. Models Charlotte McKinney and LMFAO singer Redfoo tied for last place, earning a 22 out of 40. Aside from the contestants, a new trophy was revealed during the show. As to who will win it, you'll have to keep watching. HBO's popular drama Game of Thrones returns to cable television in mid-April for its 5th season. But if fans are worried the story is close to finishing, think again. HBO programming president Michael Lombardo says he hopes Game of Thrones continues past its hinted 7-season schedule and stays on the air for 10 years, but only if creators David Benioff and Dan Weiss approve of it. The creators were unsure of dragging its story out that long, saying, quote, "We don't want people to finally see the end and say, thank God that's over. We know basically how many hours are left in the story. We don't want to add 10 hours to that." It seems Snow White has found her Prince Charming in Captain America. Actress Lily Collins and the Avengers' Chris Evans are officially a couple. The two met at the Vanity Fair Oscars party back in February, and sources say they are having a lot of fun and seeing where it goes. Lily Collins used to date party boy Zac Efron, but rumor has it that Evans is a partier himself. Collins is best known for her role in the Mortal Instruments' City of Bones, a film adaptation of the best-selling book of the same name. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to see where that couple goes.
They're a really cute couple.
Super cute. Well, thank you. Old Orchard Parkway will undergo renovation after community members discuss plans for the site's new design. Cougar News reporter Chantel Del Aguila brings us more.
Being updated. Like what?
Members of the Old Orchard community gathered together for a second meeting to discuss the 2 project plans in refurbishing the park.
In the first meeting, we opened the floor up to any and all ideas that people may have for the park. It's a 5-acre neighborhood park, so that means it's not going to be Central Park that's a big regional park or a big gymnasium. It's going to be in character with the neighborhood.
However, the new proposals will not accommodate all concerns put forth by residents.
Ball diamond in the park, it's currently not lit for night play, and there's no proposal to put lights up on that park.
People who attended the meeting say there is a definite need to revamp the park.
We see the impact on our site because lots of times there aren't many people who go to the park. Instead, they just come to our playground because the playground is outdated and, there's definitely a need there.
Regardless of which plan is chosen, community members are looking forward to a park that can accommodate people of all ages, from children to senior citizens. And most importantly, be safe. For Cougar News, I'm Chantal Del Aguila.
A new development that promises to bring big changes to Canyon Country will break ground this spring. Nick Viverka has more on this.
This piece of land along the Santa Clara River in Canyon Country is empty, but soon it will be home to restaurants, apartments, and shops, all part of an ambitious new project called Vista Canyon.
Vista Canyon is a new mixed-use development for the east side of Santa Clarita in Canyon Country. It's located along the 14 freeway, and we have Sand Canyon Road to the east, and we have Lost Canyon Road, which connects with Via Princesa to the west. The Santa Clara River is on our north, and the Metrolink rail line, the Antelope Valley Metrolink line, which connects Lancaster-Palmdale with San Fernando Valley and Union Station downtown, is to our south. So we are some needed infrastructure and services for the eastern side of our town.
Vista Canyon will also be home to a new movie theater and new Metrolink station, and plans to make life easier for commuters.
Everybody has to commute from here, either across town or on the 14 freeway into Los Angeles. So one of our major mandates was to reach into the San Fernando Valley, reach into Los Angeles, and bring out some major employers for the east side of Santa Clarita. We'll have about 650,000 square feet of corporate office space, and we are working on some very interesting architectural designs to capture the attention of the employers and the employees in LA, and we intend to bring out some major employers here.
The goal of the project is to bring a change of pace and lifestyle to Canyon Country.
So I'm envisioning a place where you'd really want to just go and meet some friends and catch lunch or dinner, and kind of a gathering place or a magnet for the community on the eastern side of the city.
I'm standing here in front of the future site of the Vista Canyon project. The project is expected to break ground in May of this year. For more information, you can visit vistacanyon.com or visit jsbdev.com. That's jsbdev.com. For Cougar News, I'm Nick Vaverka.
With the closure of one supermarket, another one blooms into success in Canyon Country. Ivana Madueño has more.
The newest supermarket in town has brought the public to Canyon Country. With low prices and fresh produce, customers don't mind the crazy parking circumstances out front. Since the closing of Albertsons in Canyon Country, the public has been patiently waiting on the arrival of the new Vallarta supermarket.
I love it. The decoration, the food, and the price. Especially for produce. Can't get lower.
I asked one of the workers who has worked for a different Vallarta before about working in the new improved store, and he said there were better benefits, like living close by.
It's a bigger store, it's a little more running around, but I enjoy it.
More people?
More people. You meet more people and a lot of pretty friendly people out here, customers.
All the different departments they have to offer, from the panaderia to the carniceria, customers have a ton to choose from.
Yes, it's really good. I like the meat department. Yes. Yeah, it's closer. I even stopped going to what's it called? Food for Less instead. I'm coming here. So.
For Cougar News, I'm Ivana Madueño.
Still to come on Cougar News, you won't have to go far for some fresh fruits and vegetables at affordable prices.
Also, we have your COC baseball and softball highlights, so don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is T-Boz of TLC.
This is Batman.
I'm Michael C. Morona.
And I'm Danny Tamborelli.
Hi, this is Ming Chen.
This is Mike Zapsik.
Hi, it's Louis Anderson.
I'm Weird Al.
I'm Florence Henderson.
And you're watching.
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 And you lucky people are watching.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News.
Cougar News. Cougar News.
You're watching Cougar News.
And I'm a cougar.
Stay tuned.
Habitat for Heroes.
Really, it's a story about people.
Letting people see that they're not alone, they're not isolated. We're here to help.
And we need to work on behalf of our veterans.
Then we can really change that veteran's ability to reintegrate into the community.
Habitat for Heroes is not just rebuilding homes, but it's rebuilding lives.
And that's the message we want to get across.
Get involved. Visit habitatscv.org and find out how you can help.
Knock out cancer! You're watching Cougar News!
Is bottled water really better for you than tap water, or do the two come from the same place? Darian and Ori investigates if you're just pouring your money down the drain.
$110 billion a year. That's how much the water bottle industry makes in sales worldwide. So is bottled water really better for you, or is it all a myth?
Tap water can contain some things that you probably don't want to be drinking.
The Environmental Working Group tested 10 bottles of water brands and found the same contaminants in trace amounts as tap water.
Yeah, I think that kind of opens my eyes a little. I mean, I don't see myself running and getting the sink and putting a cup under it and drinking that, though.
Even some brands of bottled water are just tap water in a labeled bottle and may not be filtered further since companies don't have to state where the bottled water comes from or even if it gets treated.
So they're kind of making money over just a simple thing, which is just water, which is what we can't live without. It's literally on our earth.
In California, tap water costs 1/10 of a cent per gallon, and bottled water costs 90 cents per gallon. This means that tap water is 560 times less expensive than bottled water.
I think that the companies should tell people the truth. What's in their water, no matter what. They should never lie to the people who buy it.
A question to ask yourself, is bottled water really better for you? Or are you just paying for expensive bottled tap water? For Cougar News, I'm Darian Nori.
And here we have Fred Luna with sports news.
Yeah, what's going on with the Cougars?
I tell you, those balls are flying and those bats are cracking. But to get us started, with high school baseball around the corner, Chris Pacheco got a closer look to see how these teams are preparing for the 2015 season.
With season just around the corner, the competitiveness is high in the Santa Clarita Valley, but it also brings these young athletes many goals.
I'm hoping to come in and start some games soon. We're hoping to put up some wins this year and just throw some tough games and get our outs.
For the season as a team, I think we're looking out here to come and win league. I take it one game at a time. We've been working hard at practice and stuff. We're just looking to play our game out there.
The players aren't the only ones with expectations for 2015. Their coaching staff do as well.
This year we find ourselves to be a little bit more a complete team. We think we've got 2 or 3 arms that are good enough to do some real good damage in the league. We think our offense from top to bottom is as good as anybody's, and we think we're going to play some excellent defense.
I think we've been getting better throughout the preseason here, so I just hope that we get better every game. And I'm hoping the pitching comes around. That's the main thing, pitching and defense, and then let hitting catch up.
Baseball is known as a team sport, but to these players, it's way more than just a team.
As a team, we're all really one, and it's really a family, and I really enjoy playing on the team. Everything that we do is, we all do it together, and it's a fun time.
To keep up with any high school schedule, you can visit maxpreps.com or any of their school websites. This has been Chris Pacheco for Cougar News.
Thanks, Chris. As the COC baseball team continues in conference, currently standing in second place with a 5-2 record, our own Felicia Cardenas talked with the team about their plans moving forward in conference. Let's take a look.
380 feet down the center. For some Cougars, this is their home.
For the first time in a lot of years, we have a lot of Santa Clarita Valley players, and I would imagine 2/3 of our roster is Santa Clarita Valley, which has been a change, which is nice to have, though. One of the big surprises for us, and it's been a great surprise, is Roy Verdejo, the freshman out of Saugus High School, who's hitting 4th for us now, and I think he's 2nd in the state in home runs, and He's got a lot of RBIs and just coming up with big hits for us. Besides him, Colton Burns from Valencia High is having a real good year. Dylan Fryer from Saugus High School is having a real good year. Jose Jaros from San Fernando High School. It's really been spread out throughout the lineup, which is nice to have.
While the talent on this year's team is undeniable, could there be something more uniting these athletes?
We're starting to come together. We have really good chemistry this year. I really like this team. Infield this year is the same as last year. We have a lot of returners, and the outfielders are new, but we're all really close.
From last year, it was my second year here. The difference I've seen is our chemistry. We're still together this year. Last year we were kind of apart, little groups here and there, but now this year we're pretty together.
As they move further into conference, the team focuses on how they can keep on winning.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, conference games are different, but don't try to do anything different on the field. So we're trying to keep them consistent, whether it's offensively and pitching, and they're doing that, so we'll be fine.
I don't know if there's much to improve on, but there's little tweaks we can do, like maybe having a better approach at when we're hitting or being more mentally focused on the field. Not much though.
Work together, we'll stick together, and we'll play together as a team.
The ultimate goal? To bring home more than runs.
Our goal is to win conference and get deep into the playoffs and try to get into Fresno for the state championship.
Well, I want to be conference champs this year, so that's one of the goals I have.
Winning our league, that's my main goal.
For Cougar News, Felisa Cardenas.
Speaking of conference play, COCs entered their 7th conference game in the battle for first against Glendale. COCs coming into the game 12-6 overall and 5-1 in conference. Meanwhile, Glendale is coming in 9-11 and tied in 5-1 as well. Why don't we take a look? Bottom of the 7th, we pick up the battle. Colton Byrne with 2 men on, connects with a base hit up the middle, bringing in the first run for the Cougars. An error by the center fielder, Jared Adkins, allows the Cougars to tie it up 2-2. Bottom of the 8th, Dylan, scary play, waiting for his pitch patiently. And he belts one to right to get things started for the Cougars. He would come around first and pull his hamstring with an injury. Later on, the coaches came out to check on him, and he was questionable for the day. But instead, he was taken out and replaced with pinch runner Michael Metz. Roy Verdejo up, goes into a double play. One full count, 2 men on. Jake Sperlin getting ready to crush one. Can he save it for his team? Patiently doing a little bit of that Sheffield, hits the RBI double, and the Cougars take the lead 3-2. That is one of our daily doubles. So why don't we show you that one more time? Giving his team momentum, bringing them up. Look at him square up, and he crushes that down the right field line. Top of the 9th, here it comes. The one, the only, Nick Wolenick. Dangerous slugger, I tell you. Looking for his pitch. With an RBI double, he ties the game at 3. Here he is one more time. This is the play that killed the momentum for the Cougars. Crushes that ball and brings his team right back on. Check this out by Jake Ryan, this save. Great form of athleticism, jumps up to save that run. Unfortunately, that would not be enough as the Cougars allow 2 runs on an error by Colton Burns in the top of the 10th to take the 5-3 lead. Glendale goes on to win 10-3, taking the reign of first place with an overall record of 10-11 and a conference record of 6-1, while COC drops to second with a conference record of 5-2. At 12-3-1, the Lady Cougars are playing well in every aspect of their game this season. Andrew Gold has the latest on the Cougar softball team.
With a few key players leading the charge, COC's softball team is off to an impressive start this season with a 12-3-1 record.
Well, right now, of course, Lauren Anderson has been our big success on the offensive side and the defensive side. She's pretty much running the show behind the plate, and then she's a force to be reckoned with. You know, offensively, she's just tearing it up in the state right now.
Before and after every practice, everybody's out here getting extra hacks or taking extra ground balls, and it's easier to go out and do that when you're not by yourself. When you have teammates who text you, hey, let's meet up early, it's so easy to be able to do it instead of being like, oh, it's just me and I can't really focus. It's nice to have somebody there and be like, hey, did you see this in your swing, or stuff like that. So definitely have to thank my teammates for always being like, hey, let's hit.
Although they work hard, they never stop short of crediting teammates for their inspiration.
Having confidence in our players, 1 through 9, in our batting lineup, and knowing that anybody could get the job done.
We also have Cheyenne, who's at our shortstop, Cheyenne Stewart. She's playing short for us. She played her freshman season and hadn't played since. Really the best thing at this point is her bat. She's been just a leadoff hitter for us and is doing a great job. We love having her out there. And then pitching-wise, I've got 3 girls that can throw. We have Milana Casillas, who's been coming along strong, and then Russo, who has actually been injured for the last few weeks and is now really coming around. She's getting some innings in. So we're really excited to see both Milana and Russo throw tomorrow against Bakersfield, who is a pretty strong opponent.
With Cougar News, I'm Andrew Gold.
So the softball team's looking like it's doing pretty well so far.
Definitely.
And do you think the baseball team will catch up?
You know what? I really do think so. They're a hardworking team. They got the chemistry, and they put in extra time. Let's hope they can just make it right back up there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you guys next week. Wonderful World of Sports.
Thanks. Every Sunday here on campus, we have a farmer's market. I was there to find out more about it. Perfect. Here on our own College of the Canyons campus in Valencia, the Ventura County Certified Farmers Market takes place every Sunday morning. At the market, one can shop for fruits, vegetables, honey, flowers, and much more.
We've been doing, as a farm, we've been doing this market for a while. But yeah, we do really well. We get here in the morning around 6:15. We just start unloading the truck, and then we pull everything out, start setting it up. It takes us about probably like an hour to get ready and get it all up and going. And then we get the cash ready, put the bags up and the sign, and we're good to go. And customers usually show up right after 8, which is when it starts. And it's been a good market. The people here are really cool, and you can tell they're really happy to be here and be getting their produce and stuff like that. So it's good.
The reason why I come to farmers market, because I used to go to the grocery store as anybody will. And I noticed the vegetables, particularly the produce itself. It was good until I came here the first time. And when I came here the first time, I found, first of all, it was too expensive. But then when I started tasting it, it was much better. So I started coming to farmers market, and I've been going to farmers market now for about a year and a half. And I don't do any produce at the grocery store more at all.
The farmers market serves as a community hub, both for the farmers as well as the people in Santa Clarita to get to know and to interact where their food comes from. The farmers market is open every Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m., rain or shine, here at COC in Lot 5. I'm Georgia Rios reporting for Cougar News.
Now I have to ask, did you purchase anything while you were covering this story at the farmers market?
I did. I got some beautiful fresh sunflowers as well as some really sweet carrots, so it was really great at really great prices as well.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out. Well, that does it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm Allyssa Dickert. Remember, you can catch us on the web at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Georgia Rios. You can also send us news and tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle at @COC_Cougar News. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.